In 1994, the must-have game system was either Sega Genesis or Super Nintendo, which at this time, the 16-bit era was slowly starting to wane and the 32-bit era was starting to usher itself in. But Sega wanted to find something that would gap the two generations. No, we're not talking about Sega CD or Sega 32X. We're talking about something that was the predecessor of what basically became modern gaming and modern online gaming. And today, we're going to talk about the Sega Channel. Sega Channel was a service that you could get through participating cable companies. Well, what it basically was is that they would send you, or your cable installer would bring you almost a device that looked like a cartridge. And what it would do is it would plug into the top of your Sega Genesis. You would connect your cable service through it, whoever your cable provider was, and you could play a certain amount of games every month, which I believe it was only around $13 a month. I never had this myself, but my family certainly did. My brother did. I was too young to remember. This was probably around 95. We didn't have it very long, maybe for about 6 months. I very vaguely remember it. But basically, what it was gaming on demand, which there was, this was completely, it wasn't a new concept. Something like this had been done in the past for Atari 2600, which we will talk about that in a later episode, and a service called X-Band, which came actually a month before Sega Channel launched, which we'll talk about X-Band in a future episode. And then, of course, in Japan, they had their own service for the Super Famicom. Well, what more can we say about Sega Channel? Now, the home screen would look something like this. Of course, this being a Christmas theme, but it had stuff like news, video games. It was a pretty awesome service. This was, around the time the internet was just starting to become a reality for homes. It'd been out for a few years at this point, but it was, it was interactive, which X-Band took that to the next level. But like I said, we'll talk about that in another episode. And here's another screen of what it looked like. This is probably what it looked like normally, around non-Christmas time and non-holidays. They probably, I don't remember. If anybody remembers playing this, my brother said he has very vague memories of it, even though we had it for several months. But if anybody remembers, if any of the holidays like Halloween, 4th of July, any of that had like a different theme for the now playing, let me know in the comments down below. I'm really curious, and I haven't been able to find much about them other than Christmas. But yeah, this was basically, your home screen where you would start out. This is, normal every day of the year. And you could go in and, find games to play, and there were contests and whatnot where you could win actual prizes, and that alone is pretty cool. I wonder what kind of prizes they gave out back then. If you actually competed in one of these contests and you won, let me know. Or if you just competed in general, tell me in the comments down below. I'd like to revisit the Sega Channel in a future episode and cover a little bit more information about it. But this is just basic general information of what it is, and some pictures to show you, to give you an idea of, what it was. But yeah, it's a pretty interesting piece of gaming history when you really think about it. But what did we learn today? The Sega Channel. Well, it existed. It was through your cable company. And it was launched in December of 1994, if I didn't mention that. Now, when did it discontinue? It actually lasted up until midway through 1998, which was 4 years, which wasn't really too bad when you really think about it. I mean, that's a decent amount of time. That's about shortly before the time they discontinued the Sega Saturn, which it existed all through the Sega Saturn's lifespan, and of course, the Sega Saturn itself had, online capabilities itself. And then there was SegaNet for Sega Dreamcast, which was the successor to the Sega Channel, essentially. And then the successor to SegaNet, of course, the spiritual successor was Xbox Live, which continues to this day through the original Xbox and 360 and Xbox One. So that is what the Sega Channel basically was. We may do another video on it in the near future. I definitely like talking about it. There's not much you can really say about it, other than the information I've provided today and the few pictures that I've provided. But tell us in the comments down below, did you have Sega Channel back in the day? Don't forget to like and subscribe. We have new episodes as of April and May 2019 every Friday, Sunday, and Monday. And as always, it's a pleasure to have you watching this. Show some support. Definitely show some support. We need all the support we can get. Until next time, when we have something else awesome to talk about, I'll see ya.